All right, guys, welcome to another Monday night live session of the Watercraft Journal. It feels like it's been forever. It kind of has, but that's all right. It's been a very busy last few weeks for us. And weirdly enough, it's been a really busy last couple of days of lots of content coming in, lots of information coming in about some really unusual corporate behavior. You will see articles going live tonight at midnight on the Watercraft Journal regarding the new STX 160s. We have all the internal documents from Kawasaki. Obviously Cowie rolled out the 2025 STXs. There's two of them that were present at the World Cup in Thailand, and those are primarily changes to the hood design so that the hood won't catch water and rip off. That was a big problem with the hood design. But simultaneously, they brought out the 2026 units, and that is the first in my entire career that I've ever seen a manufacturer bring out a unit a year and a half to 2 years in advance. So for whatever reason, they brought out the STXs for 26. We are not going to talk about those today. We are talking about the annual Watercraft of the Year award. We will come back. If you guys want to come back and talk Kawasaki's on the 23rd, I'm happy to do it. I might bring in Josh Dowling from Australia if I can get him to either wake up or call in sick for work, or if I can get Josh to do it, I'll get him. Otherwise, I might drag Billy and Greg to do it again. But speaking of Billy and Greg, let's bring on our two favorite friends of the show. There's Greg Gaddis of Greenhulk Garage, and of course,
That's
Billy.
One.
And gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. I apologize.
Thanks for having us.
Haven't had a whole lot to talk about. I figured, oh my gosh, we got to talk about Watercraft of the Year because you guys are so important in helping with the judgment of our of the different entries for this year. And we wanted to go over why we chose these guys and why we got here in the first place. Also, what skis didn't make the cut. I will address Stu's super chat right now. He says, I honestly wanted to get Kevin's reaction to the new 160R, and it's a big disappointment. But again, Kawasaki literally introduced all these new units in a hospitality tent in Pattaya. Is it Pattaya? Is that how you pronounce it?
That's what I say, but I think the locals, it's like Pattaya.
Well, in Pattaya, Thailand. They just introduced all these skis, and they decided to make the big news the SXX 160, which is a fixed steer stand-up, which I give it a good year and a half to 2 years of sales for people who want the new shiny hotness, and then it's going to go back to 280 units a year. So sorry, it's unless I will eat crow. I will happily eat crow if Kawasaki does a bump of cocaine and goes, we're selling this thing for $7,800.
Yeah,
they say we're selling this ski for less than $8,000 because we want to appeal to youth riders and young buyers. Then I will praise it from my rooftop. But they're currently selling the SXR 160 for $12,000. That ski hasn't changed since October of 2017. And they're selling that ski 7 years later for $12,000. And meanwhile, you can get into a Spark, you can get into a Jet Blaster for $3,000 less than that.
It's true.
So I am aghast. I am ballyhooed. I am completely floored. I am totally baffled by what Kawasaki is thinking with this thing. I know back in 2019 that Kanamori was like, hey, we're going to bring back the X2. And I said, that's a bad idea. And he goes, oh, it's going to be great. And I'm like, okay. So
I think it's a great idea. I love it.
Do you love it?
Yeah.
I hope Kevin's wrong. It's a great
I showed it to Kylie last night too, and she was like, she thought it was the coolest thing ever because she never wanted to ride a stand up because it's like so many things going on and just taking one motion out of it. So it's appealing to.
Good. Hey, I'm an old fart. Whatever. I'm 20 years older than you. Don't listen to me.
Greg, you ready for me to order one? I'll tell Duke right now. You ready?
Yeah, but maybe so. If I can get the lady's stamp of approval,
There you go.
All right. Hey, look, we already pre-ordered 3 of them for Ian. I started off with 2. Ian came back and said, "Might as well just make it 3."
Yeah,
easy enough,
Well,
I'll wait for Yamaha to come out with theirs.
Yeah. It'll be the YXX.
Yeah.
The XY chromosome. That's
what we said last night. The Jet Raider or Jet Jammer or something like that.
The Wave Jammer. They're bringing the Wave Jammer back.
Yeah.
They'll put the gooseneck on the Superjet, and it'll be a Wave Jammer. Now, okay. Now, I'm curious because it's an open tray. It's not a single seat.
Yeah.
Obviously, no one sat on it, but it was. It put your feet further out so that you could really hang the knee out. So my question to you is, would you have preferred it to have the little single banana seat, or do you like it as an open tray?
I like it as an open tray. I mean,
okay.
But I've never rode an X2 either.
Oh, okay. You've never ridden one.
No.
All right. I got to ride one of the 800s, the X2 800s. One of the guys brought it to Body Beach, and I said, dude, can I go out there and make a fool of myself? And he goes, absolutely. And I totally ate it. I mean, I yard sailed off the damn thing. But after about a half an hour, you really get the hang of it. And I was so comfortable putting that damn thing on the rail. I was like, okay, all right, I'm on board. But when I saw that all it was just a hood with a fixed steering, I was like, it's a half measure, guys. Mm-hmm. And of course, like we talked about before, they didn't have the balls to even use the name X2.
Yeah.
Like the Wave Blaster.
Right.
It was like they were embarrassed to. And so it's like, okay, well, there's your answer.
Yeah, maybe Kawasaki have an option to put a little seat in there.
Well, it's a redesigned deck. It's a now you're paying for the cost of a mold. Now, humorously enough, the Unlimited PWC out of Japan makes that. He makes a deck with a seat. Oh yeah, he's been doing it for a couple of years. But you have to split the bond line and put his deck on it. And I've seen carbon fiber ones. They're wild.
Okay.
But hood, fixed steering, and but here's the thing: is that the X2 has a very deep-rooted legacy in Japan. So there's a fan. There's like this fan thread of diehard X2 people in Japan. So for them, it was like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. Here in the States, I mean, I want to say less than 400 or less than 300 800cc X2s came to the States. The old 650s, there was a bunch. My dad had an X2.
How many years were they produced, Calvin? One or 2 years, or?
Well, they did the first year, I want to say like from 85 or 86 for a decade. And then when they went to the 800, it took about a year or two. And then, so that would be 05 to 11. So in total run, it was about 15, 16 years.
Okay.
But that's just here in the U.S. or that's total production worldwide. Very few got to the U.S.
Okay.
Just very few. Stu has a follow-up, and then we're going to get into Watercraft of the Year. Okay, one last Cowie question while the subject is on my mind. Will you do a full review of the Cowie Angler if I get my hands on one? I've already been in talks with Kawasaki about coming out to California and doing a ride on the Angler, and I'll do a whole video and review on it. So the minute that the production Angler hits the ground and I can go out and spend a couple days on it, we'll do a video on it. All right, Stu, hope that helps. All right, again, hey, Stu, thank you for the super chats. Guys, if you have a super chat question, Billy was asking about them. If you got questions and you want to be heard and you want us to read the questions, drop us a super chat. It gives us a little notice. Otherwise, the conversation kind of scrolls and a lot of questions get lost in the ether. So if you got a hot burning question, if it burns when you pee, definitely write us a super chat question. Sorry. I couldn't help it. But if you do have a super chat question, absolutely drop a super chat, even for a few bucks. It helps support what we do here. And you do get your questions answered. But we're going to go into oh, geez, I just gave away the farm. Here we go.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, that's good. It's all right. The article has been live for a week and a half.
Yeah.
Or over a week. So first and foremost, big thing about Watercraft of the Year. Watercraft of the Year is an award we've been giving out for 10 years. We've been sending out these really nice laser-edged black glass placards that can either be hung on a wall or put on a little standee. I saw a picture at Sea-Doo where they have them on the wall. Or they had them in a case. Excuse me. They had them in a case, which was really cool. They had a lot of consecutives. Sea-Doo's had a good run. But this is actually a pretty good feather in their cap. I have received emails where Sea-Doo has told us about the analytics that award of winning Watercraft of the Year does have marketable influence on people's decisions. And they have been pointed to the articles, they've been pointed to the videos, and it gives people reason to consider this machine. So this is not something that we do lightly. This is something we take seriously. There's a lot of weight involved. This year, I literally turned to Billy and Greg exclusively to help judge this one. So let's talk about judging just really quick. We used to do 40 points. 40 points ended up in a lot of ties, and we didn't want to do half points. So about 3 years ago, we doubled the point count to 80. That thankfully made judging a lot easier. And we judge it on 4 criteria. We call it the IDEA score. IDEA is innovation, design, execution, and affect. So innovation obviously is pretty self-explanatory. What is something, does this unit offer something new? Does this unit change have a bit of technology that is revolutionary? That's pretty obvious. Design is it a good looking ski? Is it attractive? Does it have a really good presence on the showroom floor or on the water? Execution, this is a big one for me. This is fit and finish. This is the final product. Greg, not so much, but your dad and I used to ride a lot of prototypes. And they learned very quickly that don't put Kevin Shaw on prototypes because I break shit. And I tore a whole steering neck out of one of the first suspension skis, the suspension skis that had the full tilt steering. I ripped the whole cluster right out of the whole thing. They're like, "Oh, that's no good. We got to put that on the trailer." So anyway, but final fit and finish. To be honest, final fit and finish is what cost the 2021 GP 1800R its place. In fact, the 21 GP 1800R should have won the whole damn thing. But the fit and finish problems that they were having at the time, stickers were going on crooked, parts were flying off, freaking transoms were showing up with the wrong year transoms were on. They were not
clutch.
Oh my gosh, the supercharger clutches. They weren't using enough sealant for the transoms. I mean, it was a bad year for Yamaha.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart because it's such a good ski.
Yeah.
But we have to be honest with execution. And then the last one is affect, and a lot of people are like, that should be effect. And it's like, no. Affect is ultimately what is a lasting change or lasting impact that permeates, that goes beyond the unit itself. All right. So that's our scoring. That's how we rank stuff. We have a cute little acronym for it. Let's get into our bronze place winner. I said I was going to take this one. This is my personal favorite for the year, to be honest. I had more fun on this ski. I laughed on this ski more even than the new Sparks and the Wave Blasters. I had a riot on this boat. I personally enjoy the size of the GTI. The GTI was redesigned in 2020. I didn't believe it until I actually had to look up the math. But no joke, I have to look it up. The GTRX 300 is 130.6 inches long and 902 pounds with a curb weight. All right. Oh, excuse me. Oh, no. So 130.6 and 902 pounds. Guess what the 2009 RX TX 255 came in at? 130.3 inches, so 0.4 inches shorter, and about 12 pounds lighter. So, no joke, this recreation-sized runabout with 300 horsepower is almost identical to the full-size 3-seater RX TX from 2009. Now, for a lot of you guys are like, bro, that's 15 years ago. Get over it. But for me, that doesn't seem very long ago.
Yeah.
And an RX TX, that platform lasted 10 years. That platform was a very good, reliable, good-sized platform. And that was their full size for the longest time. And now this guy, this intermediate size with 300 horse, is almost identical in weight and size. To me, if you want to go 15 years in the past, this is the ski to do it. You can put this ski on its side. You can put this ski on its rail. You can break the tail loose. You can whip your friends off the back seat. You can put it in sport mode and freaking launch it hard because it's got launch control. This ski, it was my favorite for the year. One of the best things about it, I say this to anyone who will listen to me, is that the GTI, RXPX, and GTRX, all these intermediate size skis, have more storage than the full-size GTX, Fish Pro, Wake Pro, RXTX.
Yeah, it's so hard to believe, huh, Calvin?
Oh, it's crazy. I'm like, guys, if you want a ski that is, I don't want to say bare bones because you could get like the tech package, you can get the sound system, you can get all the jazz, you can get your phone charger. and it's got Link, so you can go bananas with all the Link accessory stuff. This is the ski I would buy. If someone was to hold a gun to my head and say, "Okay, we're walking you into Burt's Mega Mall in California, and you're walking home with a ski, you have to pick one, regardless of money, it's going to be this guy."
Come on. I could contest to getting a chance to ride 2 of those. 2 personal friends own those.
Okay.
I would on the weekends. And I could contest it as far as playfulness. And like I said, I'm not getting any younger either, so I'm not out there cutting up doing donuts all the time either, but I will on that one.
Right.
It brings the kid out in you, for sure.
Sure.
By the time you jump on it.
I'll also say this. It tracks pretty decent through moderate chop. I mean, it doesn't bow hunt like the full-size ski.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The RXPX hull, to me, I enjoy the RXPX hull a lot. But the GTI hull is next in line for me as an all-around comfortable ski. People ask, does the Polytech 2 hull flex? Does it chatter? It doesn't have... There's communication through your feet. It'll communicate a little bit. When I say that, I mean, you'll get some vibration, you get some chatter. If you go through a really rough lake, you go through like Grassy Lake or Lake Pelor, you might really feel it. But I will honestly, seriously say this one was my favorite for the year. 300 horse, proven platform. It's, to my understanding, the last year of the Bosch controlled 300s, or no, pre-Bosch, non-Bosch controllers, excuse me. And it's a good moderate sized ski, and it'll still fit 3 people. I don't know why anyone really complains. I have such a disdain for the hull of the RXTX GTX that I would much rather ride this one all day long. Yeah. So this one came in at 61 points out of 80. That was good enough to earn it 3rd place. Greg, you got anything to say? You got to ride one.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but I mean, it has its place. It did sling me off the front of the handlebars. Kevin got to see that, but yeah. So I mean, it is a very fun ski. It's just not what I personally enjoy doing, but it's still a great ski. But everything you said, proven platform. The hull is fun, playful. My cons for me is straight line speed. It's a lot of drag, so it's not going to be as fast as the other 300s. And then it doesn't bite as hard as an RXPX by any means. So that's a con for me too. But other than that, it really is a nice ski.
I mean, obviously, I don't think about. I mean, I don't think there's anyone who, at least anyone within Sea-Doo, who's saying, "Oh, this is a competitor to the PX."
No, not at all.
I don't think they're. I mean, this isn't like Corvette over here and Camaro over here, and they go, "Well, there's a lot of family DNA," and you're like, "Yeah, but." Well, maybe that is. Maybe RXPX would be the Corvette, and this might be the Camaro.
Yeah, little slower,
more
not
drag.
as nimble, or it doesn't bite quite as hard. A little bit more loose, So yeah, that's a good comparison.
Okay, all right, yeah, all right, that's fair enough.
But it's playful. It's definitely fun. I got a chance to go across some choppy water in it. Rode behind a few other friends riding. Like you said, it doesn't hunt. It pretty much goes exactly the way you point it. I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it. So
yeah,
I like it.
I mean, one of the most satisfying things that has come out of this podcast, and I know I just saw Stu making jokes about it. He's like, I love when Kevin rants on the ST3, but I was you, Greg, your dad, the 3 of us were the first to kind of go, hey, that ST3 likes to hunt. Yeah. And you know who also said it was Jeff Hemmel over at Boating Magazine. And we're like, this thing does this. And all the diehards are like, you're full of crap. You know what the hell you're talking about. And I was like, okay, all right, that's fine. And all of a sudden, more and more people over the years are like, that damn ski's uncontrollable. Holy crap, you're not joking. And I'm like, but you guys ride glass. You guys are a bunch of tourists who go out on glass, so you never encounter it. The minute that the wind kicks up and you're wrestling the handlebars, all of a sudden you go, that damn Ginger was right. And I go, okay. So,
You don't hear that often.
You know, some people are completely numb to it and won't ever notice it. And it doesn't bother them. But you know, looking at a full-size 3-seater, kind of going on a tangent here, how many full-size FXs versus ST3s do you see in offshore racing or any kind of racing? I don't see, maybe like one ST3 hull, maybe two.
You'll see a whole bunch of FXs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. 100%. But the problem is that you get the guy who's like, I'm not a racer. It's like, it's not about that, dude.
Right.
It's like, hey, I got a question. What happens at 65 to 70 miles an hour in a Jeep Wrangler?
Right.
I don't care if it's bone stock or totally built. You're getting death wobble. And that's exactly what you're getting out of that hull, is you get death wobble out of that thing. So unless you're a diehard Jeep guy who's used to it and he's like, this is perfectly fine, I'm totally used to this, then I was like, okay, well, never mind. You know, maybe he's got Parkinson's too.
I think Kevin loves the ST3 hull. That's the bottom line. He just doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah, well, that's why I had to roll over and eat it when the Explorer Pro won the Watercraft of the Year.
Ew.
I was like, I won. I'm not happy about it. All these guys, they're like, oh, it's not just about Kevin's preference. It's just about which one Kevin likes the most. I'm like, really? The Explorer Pro, huh? Really? That's the one?
That's a good-looking ski right there.
That's a good-looking shot. I don't know, whoever that photographer was.
Deep water
that guy
blue.
is steak dinner.
Yeah, something, man. Might get a check in the mail. Good-looking ski.
Oh, hey, hold on a second. We need to acknowledge Henry's back.
Oh, hey,
Henry. We got Billy on the screen, so now Henry gets the toast. Everyone's got to toast Henry. Henry's back.
What's up, Henry? It's good to see him back.
Oh my gosh, Henry had said he was going to be gone, and now it's good to see Henry back. So here's to you, buddy. All right.
Cheers.
So this one was neat. This was to Greg's point. The FX hulls is a great offshore rough water full size Yamaha. I've always enjoyed the FX, and it's been one of my favorites. I know the calling it a Darth Vader is overplayed, but that black on black on black
beautiful
FX SVHO is just chef's kiss to me. I absolutely love it. So when the 1.9, what was that? Holy cow! What sound like a two-stroke? 1.9. When the 1.9 came out,
what did he raise up in that cup? Greg, what's in that cup?
Too much grape soda.
Yeah, Henry's got him all bucked up, man. That's good. Good to see him.
When the 1.9 liter came out, I was like, okay, well, let's see how an extra 20 horse helps out with the SMC hulled FX. It just so happened that our good friend Billy here got his little mitts on one and has enjoyed it all year.
Yeah,
and I'd like to get your 2 cents on having it for the whole year.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy. I was happy to get my hands on it early last year. I want to say maybe 2 weeks after the fall Mudbug.
Yeah, so you're one of the first.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought the color was amazing. You know, the deep water blue. You know, fit and finish. We talked about that before. Curious whether they would have come around Yamaha and put the stickers on straight. The SMC hull, the material, night and day difference. Kev, I don't know if you had opportunity to ride one. I believe Greg has. Completely different going over Cross Chop, Lake Verret, Lake Pelor. you don't hear all that resonation and sound. The ski just feels absolutely amazing as far as the hull material.
That fiberglass soaks it up, unlike the Nano, huh?
Yeah, big difference, because I spent many days on Ricky's FX, the 1.8, 2019, 2020, Chad's 2021. So I'm not new to it as far as have an opportunity to spend a day or two on the previous generation FX. So this is a night and day difference for sure. And then Greg will get into more detail in regards to the mode. I don't know all the ins and outs of the design like Greg, but the 1.9 overall power, acceleration. I like to throw myself off the ski, one-handed, trying to film for the GoPro, and got up there and holding the GoPro and floored it, dude. I was almost in a marsh. So it's definitely real peppy from down low, mid-range. And of course, it translates to a higher mile per hour top end. Not that that's a race ski by any means, but I got some good 60, solid 63s sitting down all day long. Upper 64 cost.
Yeah, you
low
hit
on
64.
fuel. Yeah, the ski scoots for sure.
Yeah, it's no slouch. For naturally
no
aspirated.
slouch.
And it ran. I mean, were you running 87 or did you typically run
87? I never did try doing 80. I don't think it would make a difference, but I ran exactly what the book recommended. 87. I figured at some point I was going to test it with mid-range, and 93 for what it was worth. I wouldn't expect any changes. I really was more curious if miles per gallon would change slightly. With the skis, I kept track of that. That never was really impressive. And I'm making a scale based off my FZR and previous supercharged models, where I could usually get on average cruising 45, 50, somewhere 5.1, 5.2, where on my FX, unfortunately, I was only seeing maybe 4.8, 4.9. So miles per gallon was never really truly amazing, which, like I said, I didn't purchase a ski for that. I think some people would be disappointed not getting a range out of it versus in a 1.8 SVHO.
So on average, you actually did a little bit worse.
A little bit worse than average, believe it or not. I have a few friends. I say friends, people that I reach out to and I chit chat time to time on YouTube that has more hours than I have on my 1.9. They've been through a few services, some oil changes, spark plugs, and they're not seeing any better. He said, if anything, Kevin, I talked to him tonight. He said it may be a little less than what I was getting, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, but that would be the only complaint, and that's not a complaint, obviously.
Is he only running 2.5 quarts of oil like Yamaha suggests?
Yeah. I don't know if he's tried. Like Greg has suggested, maybe put more oil in it and see if that makes a difference. I don't think it's going to bump it, but
0W30, just 2 quarts of 0W30.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's back to that ski. Fit finish.
I don't want anyone to be like, Kevin said.
Kevin
I'm like,
said
don't.
You heard it here first. Kevin said it.
No.
But like you said, ergonomics, seating position, adjustable handlebars, storage, night and day different from my FZR. Having all that storage up front, the wet storage in the rear, for the ropes, and of course that 7-inch screen was really nice to have.
I was going to ask about the new full-size, full-color screen.
Screen
that's a first for the HO. Was getting the big screen. That's pretty navigable. That is easy to use.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to use. I had purchased the SIM card for the maps download. I think it was like $200. I had Duke install that before I picked it up. So I'm not sure exactly what it would look like without the SD card in the ski, but I wouldn't think much difference. A little bit more details, I'm sure, with that map card in it, but pretty intuitive. Yes, I enjoy it. It's a nice ski.
Okay, couple hiccups that existed with the previous unit. It would reset the trip. It would reset the trip, and we knew the gas gauge was super wonky. There was a few other things that people were complaining about that were all in the Connect software. Did you encounter anything that was driving you crazy like that?
No, but if I had the previous year, I'd be pretty bent out of shape. I fully understand where they're coming from because once again, a few friends with those models, a few times I was trying to keep track of stuff. I was like, what do you mean it reset? What's all that beeping? You'd be riding along with them, it's just beeping the whole time. I'd have been pretty bent out of shape as well. So I don't blame those. Those legitimate gripes and complaints for sure. But on in 2024, that was corrected. That was absolutely corrected. Once you zeroed it out, it's still like that. No matter how many times I start and stop the ski, stopping at a sample or a swim hole, the mileage is still there. The tripometer mileage was showing. No annoying beeping. The fuel alarm probably still comes on a little premature, but it's still not nearly as bad as it was previous years.
Okay.
And look, you could silence it, so at least you could shut it up.
It's not like a 30-second silence. It'll be done for the ride.
Right. It's a big difference with that. So, but yeah, no complaints really. And I could honestly say 2025, if it's not a 310 moving forward, I'd probably end up buying an FX HO Cruiser once again. I still don't think I'm going to go to SVHO 1.8 until they make some type of changes.
Right.
Well,
so, Greg,
but I'm an older guy. I'm older, so I'm not like Greg down there. I know where he's coming from. Me and you were his age at one time, and
right.
It's I have my little RX PX, to zip around on, but for me, pleasure cruising, taking all day trips, 80 to 200 miles, being able to carry the bumpers, the ropes, the ice chests, the gear, the GoPros, the drone. That's priceless to me. So I just can't give that up. When I was younger, I probably wouldn't have cared. But I can honestly ride this ski from daybreak to sunset. The next day, feel like I never rode a ski all day.
Question about riding 2-up, and then I want to ask Greg his thoughts on the engine.
Absolutely no difference. I had Gene on a few times, and I can honestly say 2-up on an RX PX is a different story. On my FX, never noticed you was back there whatsoever.
Okay. Greg, you got the scoop on the 1.9 liter early.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen any failures, which is great. I haven't seen any catastrophic mechanical failures, anything like that. That's bit Yamaha in the butt, which is a blessing. That's been great.
Yeah.
What are some of your takeaways on the 1.9 liter and what you kind of foresee?
Well, I have not heard a single bad thing engine wise, no failures of any kind that I know of. But it was a heavily revised engine, so that there are a few carryover parts from the 1.8. The crankshaft is the same. The connecting rods are the same. The oil pan and the oil pump are the same. But other than that, everything has been completely different or changed. So you get the 1.9, same stroke because you got the same crank, same rods, but it's a 2 millimeter larger piston. So you get a little displacement advantage there. Now in the bottom end, something that was a big deal that you don't hear a lot of people talk about is they changed the crank pickup. So you have a more revised rev limiter. So before, you're going to get some over rev if you come unhooked and it hits the rev limiter. The ECU needs time to catch that it's revving faster. So with this revised crank pickup, it's going to do that. So for example, on my Yamaha GP, the 1.8 with the old pickup, my rev limiter is at 9,700 RPM. If I come unhooked at high speeds in rough water, I'll see 11 to 12,000 before it catches it and brings it down. So you're not going to have that on the 1.9. It's going to be much more controlled. Then moving to the cylinder head, it's literally completely different. So the exhaust ports are different. The intake runners are different. Camshafts are the same, but the cam timing is a little different. I think it's the intake cam They changed the timing on it. And then intake manifold was completely revised. You have a larger throttle body, a larger flame arrestor. The exhaust ports were shrunk 2 millimeters with a different exhaust manifold. So overall, the engine is flowing a lot more air, and that's where it's getting the power gain from. And it's been flawless that I know of. I don't know of any issues with it. So yeah, I mean, Yamaha really knocked that one out of the park.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I have not heard any failures. It's not
I
been.
agree.
It just hasn't popped up, and that's a hell of a thing to not have any teething issues for any engine in its first year.
Right.
I gotta say, dude, that's a hell of a thing for Yamaha. So that's really, really good news.
Yeah, I got to give them a lot of props. And there's one thing that we're going to get into when we reveal the first place that I think kept Yamaha from winning. I think Yamaha should have won, and they would have won if they did this. But we'll get into that when we get to the first place ski.
Well, let's do that then.
Yeah.
Let's get out of this Yamaha stuff and get into the first place winner. And
should have been first.
This was the first time I think I've been on a factory ski that I got off and I said, not everyone should have this. I almost want to be like, there needs to be like, you need to have a race license to get this.
Yeah.
I just knew, and it's funny because I mean, top speed. I mean, I've been on faster skis. I've been on race skis. I've been on uncorked stuff.
Right,
but the way this machine pulled, the way this machine came out of the hole around a buoy, the way this machine approached an apex and pulled out of that turn with stock sponsons and stock gear, I was like, okay, people are going to get hurt. Thankfully, I haven't seen the numbers to make that a prophetic statement. But the 2024 RXPX 325, not only, I mean, Greg and I were not expecting this damn ski to show up.
No, not at all.
No. We were like, it's going to be the Spark. They're going to make the big thing the Spark, and we're just going to sit around and fart around on the Sparks. And then they go, hey, we completely redesigned the engine, and it's all badass race stuff.
Yeah.
Got any questions?
Right.
Greg?
Yeah, so like you said, it was really unexpected. So when I got wind that a higher horsepower RXPX and RXTX was coming, my initial thought is, okay, they just put a different tune in the 300 and called it a day. Sea-Doo's done that before with a 255 and 260. There's no mechanical change, but you have a small bump in horsepower. And then when they rolled this out, and we're getting pictures in from the, I guess the dealer meeting that they had, me and Kevin were like staying up all night texting, freaking out about the changes that were made. So the biggest thing is the supercharger. So they completely went away with the old design and have a new supercharger that spins literally over twice as fast. It's near a stock ski. It spins almost 100,000 RPM, where the old 300 superchargers spin around 40,000 RPM.
Yep.
It's a more efficient compressor. It's making a lot more boost pressure. It'll make 15 pounds of boost, which is incredible for a stock ski.
And it does it colder.
Yeah.
The charge is colder.
Yeah, it is colder, which is important because not only is the boost pressure higher, but with the colder temp, the air is physically denser. So there's more oxygen molecules on top of the increase in boost pressure. So yeah, that was like the highlight of the engine. But Sea-Doo didn't stop there. They revised the oiling in the engine. So now each piston has 2 oil squirters. And then, of course, a different oiling system going into the PTO for the new supercharger. The exhaust rocker arms, they used to be cast, and we had issues with those breaking. They now went to a forged rocker arm, and I do not think you're going to break those. I mean, I've spun this well into the 9,000 RPM with an aggressive cam. No issues, which is fantastic. a different valve spring to take advantage of the higher RPM that this engine turns. It turns 8,250 RPM, or that's where the limiter's at. On the 300, it was at 8,040. So just over 200 RPM higher. Intake manifold was redesigned. It has a larger plenum with shorter runners. And other than that, I think that was the positive changes for this ski. Now, there were some growing pains with it. It was not perfect. Sea-Doo basically took the 300 motor and fixed every flaw with that and improved upon it, but there's still some growing pains involved. One of the biggest ones that I've seen is a boost leak at the intake manifold where it mounts to the cylinder head. Very few skis are affected by that. It's a very simple fix to do it. But that was the only problem that I saw with stock skis. Now, going to modified skis, which hadn't been talked about a lot, when we modify the supercharger, we've had some failures. So the shaft, the supercharger shaft, is really thin, and when we put the big aggressive supercharger impellers in them, it flexed and caused a touchdown. The impeller made contact with the supercharger housing. So that is something the aftermarket is working on to improve it. And then, of course, the biggest one is going to be the new ECU that is so locked down, it's been driving everyone nuts. Not just us, because they use the same ECU in the side-by-side industry. So for years, people have been trying to figure this out. We've got some workarounds that have been working. They're not the most cost-effective. It's a little more expensive to tune and modify these engines, but eventually we're going to get there where you just plug it in, flash it, and you don't have to do anything else with the ECU. So yeah, the OXP.
Doesn't Riva's Nano work with the 325s?
Yeah, but you have to buy a modified ECU.
Oh, okay. So you get the modified ECU,
yeah.
And then you can do whatever you want with the Nano.
Yeah, which is, I think it's around $1,200. Okay. I'd have to look at the store to see. But you get the ECU and the tuning license, and then you have to buy the Nano on top of that. So it's not cheap. HP Tuners is finally able to tune this ECU, but you also have to send in your ECU, have them modify it, and they send it back. It is a little bit cheaper, but of course you're not going to get Riva's tuning library when you do that.
No.
But it's only a matter of time before HP Tuners, Riva, who uses MapTune, will be able to just flash it without any modification. It's we're going to get there.
Okay.
But
so it did put the industry a little bit on its ear, because with the 300s, it was very easy to get that power out of those. Yeah.
Which these engines, the 325 is making great power when modified. It's just having the ability to tune it. So you've got to do the ECU workaround or go standalone ECU. But me personally, the ski's been well into the 90s. I know other people have got it well into the 90s with really little modification. Just the intake, tune, and impeller, their skis running upper 80s on the dash.
That's
so
incredible.
85 on GPS. I know mine, now it wasn't cold weather, so I had a little advantage there. Just intake and tune and a repitched impeller, it ran 87 on GPS. That's not dash, that's GPS. But it was also ridiculously cold outside, so that doesn't really count.
You say ridiculously cold, it was
maybe 60 degrees.
Maybe 60.
It's kind of in South Louisiana.
Hey,
60 is cold for us, huh?
We're halfway through December, and it was 75 degrees outside today. So
I was in Indianapolis this weekend. I came out to my truck on Thursday morning, and it was 13.
Ooh.
13.
13 degrees.
Oh man, I don't do that. You were you at URI show?
There's any time for that.
Yeah. 13 degrees, dude, in Indianapolis. And I'm like, why does anyone live here?
And I had a few people looking to ride jet skis today. Actually, they're looking to ride this coming Wednesday, because I think we're still going to be in the mid-70s, Greg.
Yeah. But getting back to this, so the 325 has been fantastic, but we have had a few teething issues with stock skis and modified skis, where the Yamaha completely redesigned an engine and had zero issues. So why did the RXPX win? Well, boosted is always better. I don't care, what anyone says, if it's a car, a four-wheeler, or jet ski. If you have a supercharger or a turbo, it's just hands down better. And if Yamaha would have had a supercharged 1.9 with the HO, I really think that would have won. But here we are 2 model years later, almost, and we still have no news of the supercharged 1.9. So it's a little bit disappointing. Yeah.
My contention, though, and I will argue this, was that Sea-Doo built an engine that already came pre-equipped from the factory with top-tier race guts.
Yeah.
Yamaha built an efficient engine that does well, but the oiling, we've already talked to Anderson. We know the oiling is a problem. So even if there was an SVHO, I think we'd be encountering some problems.
Hopefully not, but yeah, you might be right.
Well, I'm not cursing. I'm not. Right. I hope this happens. But again, and to Greg's point, it's like, hey, boosted always wins, but with great risk comes great reward. Sea-Doo let it all out there.
Yeah.
You notice there's not a naturally aspirated version of the 325.
Right.
Wherein all of the changes and upgrades that were made to the 325 have not trickled into a naturally aspirated version.
Yeah.
They swung for the fences first and delivered this.
Yeah.
But Greg also knows there's no replacement for displacement.
That too. Yeah. 1.9
for displacement.
1.6.
Oh, yeah. Hey. I mean, the Ace, the 325 Ace has to spin, 100,000 RPM to make 15 pounds of boost. And if you've got a 1.9 liter and the supercharger is only making 6 pounds of boost or 7 pounds of boost, but is making equal horsepower, well, who's winning here?
All right.
There's less wear and tear on the 1.9.
I don't know how much boost a bone stock SVHO makes, but I know the stock supercharger, when you rev it out on a modified motor, but the supercharger is still stock, it'll make 16, 17 pounds. So the stock Yamaha supercharger does make a good bit of boost.
Right, but I don't think it's ever at peak efficiency.
Yeah.
If I recall right, I believe Jesus told me that peak boost on a stock 1.8 liter was something like 7.
Yeah, maybe like bone stock off the showroom
7
floor.
or 8.
Yeah.
But that the stupid Eaton supercharger on the Cowie was doing 15 and a half. And it was just boosting the crap out of that damn motor. And you're like, no wonder they were scattering pistons for 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, holy crap. It's like you can't get mad at Eaton for making a good TVS.
Yeah, it's a nasty supercharger. It
sounds
bad, that boy.
Yeah. But when Yamaha or when Cowie comes to the plate with hyper-eutectic powdered pistons, they're going to go kablowy.
That's really bad combination. Forced induction and cast pistons. Not a good idea.
Yeah.
Not even cast. They're hyper-eutectic.
Yeah,
they're
right.
pressed. I mean, it's junk. I mean, holy crap. So with that, I think we're all pretty happy with how the results turned out.
Yeah, RXPX is amazing ski. I had the opportunity to ride Ian's at the fall Mudbug this year. Spent more than one full day on the RXPX 325, and I think the second or third day I rode it. I rode with a pass. I rode Gina on it, so that changed handling characteristics on the ski. But other than that, I mean, it's definitely an amazing ski. You can't take nothing away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because the RXPX hull, when you have 2 people on it, I've never had a ski change the handling characteristics so much. It's a really weird feeling.
It is, and especially when Greg was going through those tight trails when you're following a line of people, so you're only doing 15, 20, 25 miles per hour, weaving and bobbing around trees, and it'll kind of follow on one side, and you're second guessing which way it's leaning, and it's like, what's going on here? So that was a little strange. It just kind of unsettling feeling.
Well, that whole wants speed more than anything.
Oh, no,
so
it wants
20 miles an hour, it doesn't know what the hell to do.
It leans on its side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It definitely wants to be driven aggressively.
Yeah, it'll bank. It'll totally roll over and bank because it can't find it. It can't find its median because it's not going fast enough. It's not at plane at all. And you got a bunch of tourists, looky-loos who are scared of going over 15 miles an hour. And you're sitting there just like, what are we doing? Okay, this is great. I'm on the Disney Jungle Cruise here. This is wonderful.
I did actually notice that, believe it or not. I got a chance to ride Ricky's older FX HO. It was a 2017, and I noticed the same thing on his. At a certain speed, it wants to lean to one side or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I rode it in Arkansas for a few days out there. I was like, that's weird. And I could test that the new FX, that is 1+, drier ride, and it doesn't have that effect, cruising. It doesn't have that tendency to want to lean on either side. So that was a plus as well.
Well, let's get into the super chats, and then I think we got a little bit to talk about what's going on this June. But all right, let's see here. We got our first. That was Stu's question. I want to talk about the 160R. We talked about that. We got a little bit of support from Will. Will, thank you very much for the support. We got another one from Stu. One last question. Will you review the Angler? I already answered that one. All right, Astro Toy. We got one from Astro. He goes, "Good day from Australia. I heard a rumor from my local Sea-Doo dealer." What's that?
That's how do they say mate? I think Australia, mate.
I heard rumor from my local Sea-Doo dealer that they are bringing out a deck extension for the Polytech hull. What's your thoughts? Obviously, Sea-Doo is going to do their due diligence, but the demand for deck extension is there. Kawasaki, you'll see it tonight at the watercraftjournal.com that Kawasaki is introducing a new deck extension for the STX models. I think this is idiotic. That's just me. Prepare to receive my ire and ridicule for anyone who buys one, but whatever. So if Sea-Doo feels the need to tack screw a plastic deck to the back of a GTI, they'll sell them because people are stupid. So there's your answer. I mean, will it stress the hull? Nah, probably not. Will it break the hull? No, probably not. Will it affect the hull? Most people won't notice. So no one listens to me about this anyway, so it doesn't matter. You screw the deck extension to the front of the ski for all I care. So, all right. Henry writes, he goes, "Great to be back. I never said I'd be gone forever, Kevin. Got to try the Concorde simulator at the Brooklands Museum, and I built a F-14 simulator in my home office. Hope Kevin likes my supercharger or my Superjet wrap." Glad he's back.
Yeah.
All right, we got one from David. He asks, "Has anyone done a supercharger on a 1900 Yamaha yet?"
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I told Max. Greg would know.
Yeah, I saw that one person that did it. I don't remember who did it, what shop that did it, and what the results were, but yeah, they did it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's actually not very difficult to do because it's got a supercharger block off plate there. It uses the same crank, and the provisions for it are already there. So any guy with some mechanical skill can do it. But the biggest con of just buying the supercharger components and installing it is you have a much higher compression ratio on the naturally aspirated motor. And I don't think it has forged pistons. So you're going to really strain the motor because you're going to be making a lot more boost than you probably should for pump gas and on a weaker piston. So the thing to do would be to build the motor with a lower compression piston. And if you're going to go through all this trouble, you probably should just go turbo.
That was going to be my answer.
Yeah.
Get a good forged piston, like a Wiseco or JE piston, and just get a sushi slicer from eBay Motors and have at it.
eBay Motors, huh?
Yeah, just a cheapo $600 turbo kit off of Amazon, and just send that sucker. Yeah, dude. Cheap turbo. Way to go. I spent 3 days at PRI. I just want to throw turbos and I just want to, dude. I don't know. I'm on board with the whole turbo thing.
Yeah.
We were looking at the STX 160R, and it's got the same damn engine, the same damn pump, and all the same stuff it's always had before. I'm like, turbo.
Please.
Put a turbo on it and call it a day.
Yeah. Turbo technology has come a long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you look even over the last 10 years, really, how far turbo tech has come. It's So
everything's turbo these days. Almost every vehicle, every 4-cylinder, every V6, everything's turbo.
The technology, the technology has come so far where like even turbo lag is becoming a thing of the past.
Yeah.
The advantages that superchargers used to have, it's not that much anymore.
Yeah.
It's the way to go, dude.
For sure.
I'm telling you.
And what's the deal, Greg? Yamaha's just tight lip in regards to supercharger at 1.9, huh?
They were like when I was with Yamaha in I think July, beginning of August, somewhere around there, I was pulling teeth trying to get info, and I got nothing.
Jesus.
Yeah, but they also know that I come here and do this. So.
Don't let Greg know. Don't let Greg know. No plans of going out there this year with Yamaha, this coming year, 2025.
I don't know. Well, probably. I was talking to Bob, the media guy with Yamaha. He was telling us about the dealer show for this upcoming year.
Yeah, you heard, huh?
It sounded like I was going to get an invite, so I don't see why not. I think I do a decent job of my media YouTube video for them. So
did he tell you where it's at?
Yeah.
Huh? Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
That was pretty wild. I got the little invite for it, so I'm going to definitely try to make it. This year. Well, I'm going to make it this year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Last year in Boston, it kind of overlapped some stuff, but I hear the show was okay in Boston for what it was worth.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the 2025 for sure.
Yeah, me too. It sounds like a fun time.
Maybe we'll get Kevin out there with us.
I'd have to wear a wig and a fake beard or something.
We gotta wear a shirt, Kevin. You gotta wear a shirt.
Yeah, I'll wear it. I'll have to, I don't camouflage well. I'll have to wear like a hijab.
We're gonna dye your hair and make you a blonde or something like that.
Just get just like shalom.
I'll put Kevin in my carry-on bag so you can
right.
Get him a little tan. Yeah. Get him a little tan, Greg. Change it up a little bit. Maybe jet black hair instead of blonde. Blonde and jet black. No beard, no mustache.
We got one more super chat from Henry, and then we're gonna talk about Mudbug. Okay. What would win in a race? Greg's Corvette or my Indian? I think I'd beat him in the strip, but he beat me at the track.
Yeah, well, that's not my Corvette. That's Dad's Corvette. My Corvette will take them all like Applebee's. It's yeah. So we're in the works on it right now. A little project, but I'm shooting for 800 wheel horsepower. So, yeah.
And that's for your That's your Z06.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be out of the big block. All right.
No. That one's making like 650-ish. I think I have to look at the dyno graph. 650 crank. So wheel maybe 6.
Yeah.
All right. Riva should bring back the turbo kits. As long as they sell, they just didn't sell.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And the problem really at the time was when those were introduced, the standalone ECUs were $3,000, and $3,000 in 2009 was a lot more money than right now.
Yeah. Which
All right.
a standalone ECU is 3,000. So, but 3,000 now and 3,000 in 2009 is like probably 50%, right?
Yeah. Yeah, big deal. All right. So let's talk about June. What do we got cooking for June?
Yeah, so the June Mudbug, it always falls on the second weekend of June. That's, just kind of tradition. I don't have anything planned out of what we've been doing the past few years for that. Just the standard group ride. Gonna have a get together on one of the days where I cook for everybody, and that's pretty much it. But the spring Mudbug is going to be the big show. So June and fall of the following year is going to rely heavily of what happens in the spring. So if it's a success in the future, we're going to try to do that for every Mudbug. But for this upcoming year, spring is going to be the big show, and then June and fall is going to be what we've been doing for the past few years, just the group ride and the hangout.
Okay. And June, the dates on June, you have that, Greg. You said second weekend.
Yeah,
that's
second weekend of June.
That's the 4th, 5th, and 6th, correct?
I would have to look at the calendar.
It looks like
that would be the next. That's the first week.
Is that? No, I'm sorry. Got that wrong. Looks like the 5th, 6th, and 7th. 6th, 6th, and 7th. 5th, 6th, and 7th is June, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, because it looks like the first falls on a Sunday, Kevin.
Okay.
So the second weekend would be usually a Thursday at 5th, 6th, and 7th. Just so we clear.
Oh, good. Okay.
Sounds right.
Well, that might be doable if I try to do June's Mudbug, because Power Tour hasn't been released yet, but I think Power Tour dates are going to be the following week. But depending on the route, I might be there for a day and then have to head home. Then again, if I don't get my car together, I'm going to be thrashing that week, and I need to get that car done for the magazines.
Which car are you planning on bringing?
I'm hoping to do the Fury. The hope was to drive that thing with the top down the whole stinking time.
Okay.
I wanted to get a captain's hat like the skipper on Gilligan's Island.
Nice.
Yeah.
And weigh anchor every time I stopped in that stupid thing. That'd be hilarious. Otherwise, I'm going back in the Charger. I got a few things in mind for that motor before I go back out. And because one of our I guess he's officially now our associate tech editor, a guy named Chris Wozniak. He participates in all the Sick Week events that they do during the year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been doing them for almost 2 years now. And every time he walks in my garage, he looks at that Charger and he goes, "You are set up to absolutely kick ass in the class that your car is set up for."
Yeah.
He goes, stick shift, intermediate size, big block. He goes, "Dude, you got to race." He goes, "You got to race this thing." I'm like, "I don't want to break stuff." And he goes, "You need to sack up and you need to race." And so he's going to call me out. And so I'm not going to do Sick Week because that's the last week of January in Florida.
Okay.
But they are doing what's called the Sick Smokies. And it's gonna start in Bristol, I think. And it's gonna now. Don't get me wrong. I know Hurricane Helene etch-a-sketched all the roads out there, so I don't know if the route's going to change. But if I don't do Sick Smokies, I might do Rocky Mountain.
Okay.
That would be nice.
The Rocky Mountain Drag Week is only like 4 days, and they do it like in Kentucky and Tennessee. So why they call it Rocky Mountain, it's hilarious. But so I might end up doing a drag week this week or this year.
Yeah.
And if I do that, I'm tempted to cheat and just put 100 shot of nitrous on the damn car and just run, 10 O's.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact I will obliterate my clutch if I do that.
Yeah.
But because somebody lacks clutch finesse. But I need to learn to drive through the clutch pedal a little bit better and just.
Yeah. It's a lot easier said than done, even I struggle with it. And I've been daily driving a stick shift for the last 4 years now.
Yeah.
So.
But, when you're set up with, 410 tire and drag slicks and you just want that thing to hook and you're like, I'm going to drop it. It's like, nope. So.
Whatever one you decide to do, let me know because I'd love to tag along.
You want to go?
Yeah, I do want to do one of these things, but I know nobody that's involved in any of this. So,
dude, hey, listen, I already have a plug and play group of people.
Okay.
So that was the biggest thing for me was I was going, I'm not going out on my own. And it's like I got Chris Wozniak and his fiance, and then Chris has the routine class winner. I knew it was Billy. All that noise is coming out of Billy. Someone's stomping around upstairs.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm laughing. I was wondering what the noise was. But I can't remember this guy's name, but he's out of Canada. This dude drives a 66 or 67 Oldsmobile.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's twin turbo, 66 Oldsmobile, with a trailer. He drives down from Ottawa, races, and drives all the way back. No truck, no trailer.
Oh.
The guy's doing like 4,000 miles.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And I'm like, the guy's a hero. And so I was like, okay. And then we got a couple other dudes. I'm doing Power Tour. I'll do, if I don't do Power Tour in the Fury, which I really want to do, then I'll be in the Charger. But I'm going to change all my rockers from 1.5 ratio, which is standard Mopar, to 1.6.
Okay.
So I'm just getting a lot more.
You get more out of the can.
Yeah. I just want to step it up. I just need. I have to do the math on my clearances because I don't want to pull the heads and sit there and,
right.
Do all I don't need to do the clay. I don't need to do all of the engine building stuff that I've done before. So anyway, I'm pretty much kind of sold on the idea of doing it, which means I got to go buy a DOT helmet and I got to go buy a fire jacket. And then it means I got to go buy new 5-point harnesses and so I got $1,000 in safety equipment, and then I got to put a battery cutoff on the car, and I don't have
a parachute. No parachute.
No. I'm not fast enough for a parachute.
I don't know, like
950.
950. Okay,
yeah.
And I'm assuming you got to have a cage at the 10-second range.
Yeah, I believe at 11.5, you have to have a halo.
Okay, yeah. Well, I've got some work to do to be ready because I'm not putting a damn parachute on the car. But
you're not running 9s.
Well, if I can launch it, bone stock on drag radials, it run high 10s. So, okay. And now we're talking, between 750 and 800 wheel. So it's got the power to run 9s. It's just, can I drive it?
Right.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
that's the idea, and I'm sitting there. It's like, well, dude, I love the idea of going out and having a really diverse group of guys, where it's like we've booked all the rooms at the same place, and we're all kind of three musketeering the thing. So it's like, hey, dude, the battery for my impact died. I got you, dude. I got it over here. Okay, that sort of thing. So. Then I'm sitting there, it's like, are you going to make me have to put a freaking trailer hitch on my Charger? And now I got to buy a trailer. And now, and all that stuff. So,
And dude, I've been watching videos for years of these events, and like, I'm building this car to go drag racing and stuff like this. You know, like it looks like a ton of fun. There's a lot of work and money involved, sure, but it looks like a really fun time.
right. So that's kind of my plan. And you know, I realize we're talking about cars and a jet ski podcast.
Going down a rabbit hole.
Well, Greg did it by having to sit in
that's
front
okay.
of his
That's okay.
Stingray.
People enjoying it, chit chatting out there.
Yeah.
You brought your vet to the track recently, Greg?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of work to it right now. So it's Fuel Tech ECU, E85, bolt-ons, and boost. So
You're running E85?
Yeah.
Well, that explains it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You put a supercharger on it?
It's about to get installed by me. Yeah.
Pro Charger or Magnuson?
No, Vortec. So centrifugal.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Pro Charger or Vortec. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Nice.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
That'll make a lot of power. You'll be in a whole different class. You'll certainly need to put a halo and a
right.
on it.
Yeah, I don't want to get to the point of having to put a parachute or none of that. You know.
No.
If I got to let out of it at 1,000 feet and coast the rest of the way just to avoid that, and you know.
So be it.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I thought the Rocky Mountain was all 8th mile.
8th mile?
Yeah, I thought they did 8th mile for Rocky Mountain.
Okay.
But I might be wrong because I was watching Mike Finnegan, and he did Rocky Mountain before doing Drag Week, and I want to say they all raced 8th mile. It opens up the variety of tracks.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's trying to think of what Tom is doing with the 6 series this coming year, because I don't know if you saw, but NMCA and NMRA closed up. Pro Media got rid of them. Steve Wolcott killed them, and they killed those two race series at the end of the year. And NMRA is National Mustang Racing Association, so it's only Mustang. So I think the only way that they got those cars down the track was by putting the crowd at the end of the track, so the cars were motivated to go and hit people. But then the NMCA is the Muscle Car Racing Association.
Okay.
So if I'm not mistaken, I think Tom bought he picked up where NMRA or NMCA ended, and said, "Hey, I'm gonna pick up those venues. I'm gonna pick up those spots, and we're gonna do a series." So there's another potential for another race series.
Okay.
So, I mean, like Chris is running mid to low 11s in his CUDA. I got a couple guys. I have a guy out of Pennsylvania who has a restoration shop. About 3 years ago, he drove a General Lee that only ran like 11 or ran like low 13s, but it was the most photographed car on the whole tour. Because he did it in a General Lee, and everyone's like, "Yeah, dude, General Lee," you know, and he'd blast the horn going through the traps. But
Nice.
Jeff Lutz is getting all pissed off. He's like, "There's like one picture of my car, and I won the series. There's like 4 pictures of this effing General Lee." Yeah, I'm trying to think of a couple other guys who were gonna go, but yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested in going. I'm not interested in putting my car on, hurting it and having to tow it home.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't want to go out and try to break the car and do all kind of crazy stuff, but just go and have fun and do the experience.
Well,
just
yeah.
to say,
I mean, the biggest thing for me, because I'm not competitive with other people so much as I am like, am I consistent? What am I doing wrong?
Right.
Am I too deep in the beam? Am I jumping the light? Am I sleeping at the tree? Is my reaction time garbage? Am I dumping the clutch at the RPM too high and blowing the tires out? What am I doing wrong?
Right.
And I personally, because I did the Tremec swap in May. I have zero track time with that car.
Yeah.
Since going to a stick shift.
And in practice, Kevin.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I literally need to get my trailer out. I mean, obviously now it's pouring rain and it's December and it's cold, but I literally need to go up to Bowling Green once a week and just test and tune.
Yeah.
You don't need a battery cutoff for test and tune, but I told Chris, I said, you're coming over and you and I are putting a line lock on my car and we're putting a battery cutoff on my car. And he goes, all right.
Yeah. My first attempt at a manual burnout on drag radials. Yeah. I mean, completely stalled the damn thing. So line lock, would help with that. But I got the hang of it. It took like 2 or 3 tries, and now I could do a burnout, no problem.
Oh, I dumped the clutch so damn hard it scared the hell out of the kid who was filming me for Silver Sport. I just went, wah! I went, wah! Just hit the tires, and he's like, jeez! And I'm like, she'll go. She makes torque like a Cummins.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Well, cool. Hey, listen, let's wrap it up. It's been an hour and 20. These people are starting to cry foul. They're like, it's car talk. So sorry, guys. No more jet ski stuff. We're talking cars now. We're talking fun stuff now.
It's all performance stuff, nonetheless.
All right. So what year is it? 11? 2011?
2007.
It's a 7?
Yeah. But it was
that's a C6.
Yeah, it was an identical car from 06 to 2013.
So that was the first year of the 6.
Second year of the Z06.
Of the C6 chassis.
Yeah.
The C6 first year was 2005, but base model only. The Z06 you could buy in 2006.
Right.
The Z06 got aluminum frame, wide body, and 427 cubic inch LS7 engine.
Yeah, so, the LS7's badass.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
what a great year.
Yeah, and I know we're talking cars, right?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be, but in 2007, I was 8 years old, and we're on vacation, and the Z06 had just came out. And my dad's got a wild hair up his butt, and we leave vacation early. We go by him at 2007 Z06, and
that's the one he drag raced. He was the fastest.
At the time, at one point, it was the second fastest C6 in the world in the quarter mile. But I mean, that has since been completely obliterated. Like I think he's like number 14 on the Corvette Form Fast list now. But anyway, so we went down this drag racing rabbit hole in my early teenage years, and 10, 11 years old, I'm working with dad in the garage on this car, going to the track, test and tune every week. And those are like the greatest memories of my childhood,
Love it.
Now having a daughter, I've got I want to do the same thing with her, build this car. She's too young now, but, in a few years from now, like have her come to the track with me and doing stuff like drag weeks and stuff like that. I think it'd be, I think it'd be a great experience. So that's why I got this car. I fell in love with it as a kid. So
yeah, I remember your dad's black 07.
Yeah,
I remember that car, and he every time I got an update, I go, holy crap, this guy is going for the moon.
Yeah,
he was in the 8s, wasn't he?
9.0 spinning.
9.0 he was 9 flat.
But spinning the whole way down the track, like he
never hooked.
It was like a true street car with 1,200 rear wheel horsepower. It never did hook. A 1,200 horsepower now with the different ECU technologies and tuning tricks and suspension tricks that people figured out. I would run like low 8s, no problem.
Oh yeah.
So, but I mean, stock suspension, bone stock suspension, and all the power.
Did Nils do that motor?
No, and this vet he did.
Yeah.
That car.
That LS motor for him.
No, the engine in that was built by Dallas Performance.
Okay.
Which, they're now doing like I think strictly Lambos. You know, billet block V10 Lamborghinis making 2,000 something horsepower. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Riot. All right.
Yeah, but that was a crazy car. Like I went, we did a track rental one day, and I might have been 10, 11 years old, and he stuck me in the passenger seat and one rip down the track, and man, I will never forget that. You know, that much horsepower, a young kid, just completely glued to the seat.
It hits you.
Yeah. Oh, it was wild.
And then every little boy who gets a taste of that, he's like,
yeah.
There are two things I love in this world: fast cars and boobs. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like I'm done.
Oh yeah. It's
like
that car literally changed my life, and now I've got this freaking crazy obsession with going fast and this and that, and it's probably a curse,
Yeah.
But I tell Kylie all the time it's better than smoking meth. So
yeah, no doubt.
You could be married to some like diehard football guy. You could be like Mr. LSU who wears purple and gold all the time.
Yeah, well, I was that diehard football guy like 2 months ago, and I had to stop watching it because the team that I kept losing, and my mental health rapidly declined. And I was sitting there one night wanting to just throw the remote at the television. And I was like, okay. And that was the last game that I watched. I just had to stop.
Time to leave it alone for sure. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
I'll tell you. I mean, my wife has come back and she's like, "Oh, I just spent the day with so and so," and she was telling me how much her husband's into Star Trek and how they had to go to the Star Trek this and they dressed up as Star Trek and blah blah blah, or they're really into Star Wars, or they're really into Harry Potter, or something. And I was like, well, you're not into anything I like. And she goes, yeah, but it's not dumb.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We're not sitting here talking about taking our kids to Comic-Con.
Yeah, kind of. That sounds like a Comic-Con.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, everyone's got their own cup of tea, I guess.
I know. I shouldn't point fingers. I'm sorry. All right. Well, guys, thanks again for tuning in. We're gonna punch this thing out. All right. For everyone who tuned in, if you want to read the article, please, and obviously we skimmed over the surface, a lot of it on the article. If you want to go to the article, please go to watercraftjournal.com to read the article. You'll see it right there on the top. We will also have all the information on the new Kawasaki's that got very sloppily leaked out over the weekend. We have all of the data on that as well. Along with a massive photo gallery. I'm literally photoshopping and editing something like 38 pictures. It's ridiculous. Wow. So if you want more information on that, definitely go over to Watercraft Journal. But I want to thank Billy and Greg for being here on the show. Billy, thanks, where can people find you?
Life begins on the water.
Life begins on the water.
Oh, on YouTube.
Yeah. On YouTube. Awesome. Greg, where can people find you?
So if you want direct contact with me, the best way is sales@greenhulkstore.com, or message me on our Greenhulk forum where my username is Greenhulk Jr. I'm also on Facebook, or occasionally I'll have some YouTube content. And if you try hard enough, you can definitely get my phone number from somebody. So
I have it. If you guys want his number.
No, it spreads like wildfire.
Thanks for tuning in, Dave. Thank you, guys, for sure.
If you want to send Greg dick pics, I will send you.
Well, we're way off subject, man. Get back to the cause.
Anyway,
crazy night, Monday.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for tuning in. I hope you had a little bit of fun. Apologize for the 20 minutes of car talk if you hate car talk. I don't apologize for car talk because car talk is a lot of fun. All right, everyone. Have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
Good night. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas, everybody.
And thanks for voting for Trump.